I'm Bryan Dwyer. I'm Chief Product Officer at Giftbit. My goal is to make sure that the engineering team is building the next most important thing for the customer. Simplicity has been part of Giftbit since I started, which was over 10 years ago when the company first formed. That's where value gets created. Rewards, gift cards, they can all be very complicated. A lot of the time, customers come to us because there's a huge headache involved. So the primary value we provide is an abstraction or a simplification of the rewards program. So after I have an understanding of the strategy from the business perspective, I look at those features which are going to serve our customers in a way that meets our strategy. Are we looking to grow in a particular market? Are we looking to enhance a certain use case? What features serve that use case? And a lot of it's just about timing. Sometimes you can be too early. You just never want to be too late. From the beginning, the CTO who built it, reliability and kind of security was just inherent. So Giftbit's always been very reliable, and that culture has always been at the base of the engineering team. Leave uses the word, we craft our work, and I think that's been across the team, but in the engineering team, they are paying attention to craft. What's the best practice? It's been interesting over the last few years to see the two sides of security, that there's practical security, like the actual encryption or the actual least privilege that we put in place as we develop. That's always just been kind of core to how we build. Customers aren't usually very interested in our specific implementation. What they want is an assurance that it matches their compliance needs. Like, are you getting this job done? So our SOC 2 process was really just making sure we were describing clearly everything we had in place, writing the policies out so that it was very clear to our customers they could audit what we had in place. I saw SOC 2 as a priority because it really helped our customers get started faster. They want to protect data, so they have steps that they need to go through. But at the core, it's like, are you protecting my customers' data? Is it safe to work with you? Do you take this seriously? It's essentially a mini audit. The goal is to change what was like a 2-week process for some customers into a 2-hour review of our SOC audit. We encrypt traffic. We make identifiers really hard to guess, really high entropy it's called. So it's really hard to brute force any specific, even single reward. We also work with customers when they're setting up their program as part of the API approval process, just making sure they understand where are they introducing risk in their program as far as how they're storing links or how they're collecting email addresses. Rewards aren't everybody's full-time business. So when we can give them tips and best practices to help secure their program, it helps them be successful, makes them longer customers. It's just always been a built-in assumption that you're giving us private data, we need to protect that for you. That's part of the good faith contract. I mean, fraud for gift cards has always been a big theme, but that's increasing. And as Giftbit grows, we have a larger footprint. As we work with larger customers, those customers are bigger targets, so we're seeing that. You've also got tools coming online, like various AI tools that make fraud a lot easier to do. But now we're starting to look at the event streams and the reporting, the data that we do have, and understanding how we can monitor that more closely to identify the non-obvious signals of fraud, particularly when it comes to our customers' use case. In the same way that we help them set up with best practices in securing their program, helping them understand what are their potential fraud vectors and what data can we share with them that helps them either identify or keep an eye out or audit fraud on their side. I'm very interested in how AI can help us monitor the event stream of the system to identify the patterns that we haven't anticipated yet as part of fraud. So I like the idea of AI as infinite interns. If you had an infinite number of people to just do a bunch of brute force work and come back to you with results, those are some really interesting opportunities around AI. One of the first things I go to is if they have any sort of technical documentation. I look at, especially if there's an API, is it flexible in a way that allows me to address the actual thing I'm trying to get done? I much prefer software that's introduced enough flexibility to fit into how we do things at Giftbit. I think I certainly carry that intention. The engineers certainly carry that intention that we want to build something that fits into the workflows of our customers. I'm very sensitive to just jargon or phrases that I know to be hollow, because we take security very seriously, and I want our partners, the software we choose, to take security very seriously. You get to choose the people you work with, and I think that's true of software. You get to choose the software you work with. One of the best compliments I think we've ever gotten was on the Giftbit API, where a developer signed up and they'd gotten back to us within 2 days looking for production access. So they were able to build in within a 2-day window, fully test it, ready to go. It's quite often highlighted just how easy it is to integrate. I think that goes back to there's good engineering. It's following basic, well-established patterns and not trying to do anything in a shortcut way, right? When we talk about idempotency, it's truly idempotent. There's a real craft that went into the API, which I think can get lost when you're just comparing documentation, but when you actually go to implement it, it behaves exactly the way you would expect it to. So it's always been really self-evident to integrate with Giftbit, which I think has served us well. I don't want to leave behind any kind of excellence or craft that went into V1 when we build V2. I want to return to really easy to understand, really flexible, so it fits those workflows with the customers. And we're also paying attention to AI, though it seems the best way to serve AI seems to make it easy for a person to understand it. AI is kind of learning our language, so if we write documentation, if we build an API that's straightforward or for a developer to use, AI can also come along and use it. Everything we do fully. We make sure it's well thought out, it's crafted, it's reliable. We use the term a lot of, good faith, of being able to trust that partner, being transparent enough that the other party can verify that you're trustworthy, but everything's done because we can be successful in partnering with a customer. It's like, we're here to help you deliver rewards. If you're successful, we're successful. That's why our pricing is transactional. Transactional not in the relationship sense, but in the value transfer sense, that the more successful you are, the more rewards you send. If we've done our job correctly, you've chosen the right partner, you'll do reward volume with us, and we share in the profit from that. There's always new challenges. Technology is evolving. Rewards and incentives are evolving. We're always ambitious as a business. We're always asking what's next, who's the next market we can serve, who's the next customer we can serve. There's always something new to try, something new to build. A growth mindset has always been at the center of our values way back, even when we drafted them. The sort of like, how are you developing? What can we learn? How can we adapt? How do we get 1%, 5% better? How do we provide that much more value over time? And that really compounds. And it's been a privilege to see over 10 years.